excited.
Through adversity. Some people go to universities where they're chosen. Others go to universities where they're tested. In 1996, Derrick Boles didn't have an agent. He didn't have a recruiter. He didn't have a system. He flew himself to Long Beach State with nothing but belief. He sat in the crowd at a Pro-Am game next to the director of the feedlot Pro-Am League. She turned to him and asked one question. Do you want to play against the Lakers? That wasn't an invitation, that was a test. Derrick said yes. He guarded Kobe Bryant for 3 quarters. And by the end of that game, everything changed. Soon after, he signed his first professional contract in Taipei, Taiwan. Sometimes the world believes in you somewhere else first. This is university through adversity. The education you get when no one is coming to save you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I get excited every time I hear that track because it's so serious. You know,
Yes,
I
sir.
am blessed and excited because, you know, out here in Arizona, there's a lot of good things that are happening all over the world, all over the country. But in Arizona, we have people who are doing some unbelievable stuff. And more than anything, I'm going to let him make a quick introduction so you guys understand the stuff that he's doing with Real Fathers Inc. is unbelievable. So with that being said, give us a little bit of background, introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are first so we can get started with this conversation.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Myron Gunnells, and I'm the founder, CEO of Real Fathers Inc. The reason why I came up with Real Fathers Inc. is because my wife passed away back in 2011, and my kids was only 10 and 7 when she passed away. And it wasn't any resources or support groups out here for men while I was growing, raising my daughters and stuff. And it was like a rock hitting the wall because I didn't have nowhere to turn to and stuff like that. And it was difficult where they have a lot of stuff out here for the women and stuff. But I mean, I get it, I understand. But at the same time, what about the men who's raising their kids is out here working and just barely surviving out here and just need that extra boost to even to come with we coming with education, mentorship, and counseling. And on the education side, I want these fellas to have some type of trade. We want to get into the trade schools, commercial driver's license, and community college because I want these guys to have a trade because you can't show your kids how to get out of poverty if you don't have no stability behind your back and stuff. So that's why I came up with Real Fathers Inc. And we're a 501c3 organization too.
Myron, first and foremost, man, I love that we're having a chance to have this conversation. Um, you know, some of the stuff that is happening in our world right now, especially as a black man in the state of Arizona, where it's very challenging and difficult if you don't know what's going on. And it is what it
Right.
is. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I think we've all had our own personal challenges that we've had to face. But I want to talk about
Yes.
a couple things because, you know, some of the stuff that you're saying is relevant and is happening real time. And so my first question to you is, when you talk about providing resources, can you break down, you know, the top resource that pops up in your mind when you think about your initiative and what you're currently doing?
The top resources is housing, daycare, and education. Because some of these men is just barely getting by where I'm talking to. So them the number one uh challenges on the list. So since I'm doing the challenges on these, I like to talk to a lot of people and see how I can open doors and things for these fathers.
You know, I love that you say that because, you know, some of the stuff that we're seeing in our society right now, especially with men, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
men are being emasculated and being you know, everybody's saying that men have lost their swag, like we're no longer leading the family anymore, which is a big deal. I want to hear what you think, and if it's just people gossiping, or if it's truth that men aren't taking a step as leading their families anymore. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I can agree with that because I'm feeling the little pain when I was doing growing up and raising my daughters, and now I feel like we is on the back burner, man. We and lost our mojo and stuff like that. So I want to bring that back and bring it into the families where I didn't have no dad. So, and that was another reason too why I brought this because most of the kids nowadays they want their dad around and stuff, and I be looking up percentages and stuff. 80% of men who raise their kids don't get in trouble. They don't end up on drugs, going to jail. Always come out successful. My two daughters. 25 and 22 now. And they have their career going. My 25-year-old, Lakeisha, she's into the medical field and she's doing dialysis right now.
Okay.
And my 22-year-old, Yoshika, she's in the daycare and kids love her and she loves kids like a magnet between them. And I told her, why you don't go to school and for some business class to open up your daycare where you can go forward with your career and stuff because that's a gift right there. Some people can't deal with kids, but she can, and that's a way gift to give to kids that's underprivileged and things like that.
Well, and again, and I love what you're saying, and I love how important that is. And one of the things that sticks out for me is the mentoring piece, because I believe mentoring, like you said, I didn't have a dad either, so I didn't have a dad, you didn't have a dad, but there's a bunch of people who don't have fathers in their lives, which really breaks down the family structure. So I want to
Yeah.
talk to you a little bit about the mentoring and what are you doing with the mentoring piece? Give us a little bit of an understanding so people who are listening to this show can tune in to find you as a resource. What are you currently doing?
On the mentor part, I get entrepreneurs and leadership men to talk to them to give them insights of what they can potentially become because you have to change your mindset. If you don't change your mindset, you ain't gonna really amount to be nothing. So we have to get that mindset changed because with all that negativity you've been around, so we're gonna show you positive
Right,
where it's
right.
gonna get you more involved in things that what you want to do in life. Because if you get more positive people around you, then that mindset would change and then you would start thinking positive yourself.
I love that. Well, and you know me, you see the unstoppable brand. I'm all about the
Yes, sir.
unstoppable mindset. I've been telling people this since I was a kid. And now I
Right.
believe that, my mind is the only reason why I didn't do anything to take away my journey in my life, because for me, your mindset is invaluable. So I want to talk to you about a couple things because one, I know you want to raise dollars. I know you want to raise dollars. And
Yes, sir.
Hi,
one of the
Derrick.
things,
I was just clapping because I liked what you said.
well, it's
Right.
hey, no, it's good. It's good. Well, I just think twofold. The stuff that he's doing, especially in a time where men are going through challenges and feeling emasculated and having their mojo taken away and not leading their families, we have to find ways to empower men. And I love what
Yeah.
he's currently doing. But on the other side of that, if you don't have dollars, you're not really
It don't
doing
make
anything.
sense.
Am I talking crazy or no?
You're talking right.
Tyrone, tell me, am I talking crazy? Tyrone, just tell me if I'm delusional.
Amen, brother. Amen.
so so two things
Preach.
that yeah, I want to say this because I get inspired because I love that we are finding ways to build and empower ourselves. And so Tyrone and I are co-CEOs of an organization called Believe in Unity, and we're going to share your information on the platform. But we really want you to understand, like, what you're currently doing is a big deal. So give us your top 3 initiatives that you're working on right now that people can donate, be a part of, and support, so that people understand that their dollars are going straight to your nonprofit organization. Top three. And I get excited. I'm
top
giving you, yeah, what are the
my
top
top
3?
three. I'm doing I do a Father's Day event every year. I'm doing my second annual Father's Day event June the 20th. And we honor fathers with swag bags, gift cards. We have motivator speakers there, and we have dinner for them. And we just want to come out and support and donate to support the cause because we need more funding so we can actually get a building where we can really get in the trenches of helping these dads because my ultimate goal is to get a building to house the dads because I was homeless myself with my kids. So I get that part too. And if we can raise dollars to help get the building, support the guys, get them on their feet, that's my number 2 goal. And my last goal is just be, I want people to be more supporting, donating to a great cause because if we don't, our kids of the next generation of fathers is going to be lacking resources out here.
Yeah, no, everything you're saying is profound and truth and a reality, which is tough. And so I want to talk to you about a couple things, and we'll continue to dive in. But you talked about you going through a time where you were homeless, right? which
Yes.
which is hard, because when you're homeless and you don't have a place to brush your teeth and shower and rest your head, um, and then just try to prepare for the next day, that's a big deal. And so my first question is, when you went through the process of being homeless, how did you get back on your feet? I want you to tell your story so people understand what you had to do and how challenging it was. I'm sure it wasn't easy. Can you talk to us?
No, well, it wasn't easy. I first man, I had to change my mindset. I had to give glory and submit to God. And that was one of the things that helped me because, I had so much anger and pain in me because my wife had passed away. And then I had to take care of the kids. And then I'm like, man, I see what the women went through, but at the same time, I know I can do it. Because my mom put that in me, doing the right thing. So I finally got situated with the kids and stuff. That was my main focus, getting the kids situation. So I called around, and I finally got some help uh, through DES. And they helped me get a place and stuff and helped me get a job and stuff. But without them, but it wasn't that much. It was just barely getting by, but it was enough to help me so I can get a job to have more money to raise my kids and stuff. But mostly it was God getting me out of this, man,
Yes.
because I could not do it without him and my pastor. When I went to the church, I was so angry. I was crying. And he told me, he was like, the reason why you going through this is you have to submit yourself. And plus, that was God's child. That wasn't your child. Your
Mm,
wife. That was God's child. So
right. Right.
God have purpose for everybody and everything in life. So I had to grab the concept of that, and that brought me through it because I had to let go. And
Well,
when I let go, that
first I got to cut you off because no disrespect. When you talk about God, I get inspired. I feel called. I feel connected at such a high level because everything that you're saying, God is everywhere, all the time.
yes,
Even when we don't want Him to be, He's still there.
it's still
Even
there.
when things don't go right, He's still there. Even when people get upset with you, He's still there. He's always
Yeah,
gonna be there.
yes, sir.
So so take a moment and talk about your relationship. But I really want you to talk about your relationship with God and how you've been able to get closer to God so that you can walk in your purpose on what you're doing now, with your nonprofit. Please talk about that if you feel comfortable.
Yeah. I'm always comfortable talking about God because He the one brought me out of my swamp. He brought me from the mud to the light, and you know what I'm saying. And it's just grateful to have Him a part of your life because without Him, ain't nothing possible. You can't put Him second. You always have to put Him first. And when you put Him first, He's gonna guide you. And like the other last week, I had a difficult time with my mom because my mom stay out here, and she have a little mental mind. Her mind is going away, and
Sure,
I'm like,
sure.
God, I understand, I know, I get it, I understand, but please, I need your help to get my moms together so I can continue my journey of doing what I want to do. So Friday came, went up there. The ladies from hospice came in. Man, eased my soul up. They gonna take care of everything. I don't have to worry about nothing. So that is another powerful testimony about me because I've been dealing with this for like 5 or 6 years, man. And now I can say God lifted another burden off my shoulders where I can start getting back to my goal of helping these dads out.
Man, that's so profound. And again, as I'm in transition, all over the country, I still want to find ways to engage and have an opportunity to play a role with your nonprofit. But on the other side of that, I think two things stick out as I'm listening to you. You know, one, God is very intentional on how He works, and people don't want to
Yeah,
talk about that, but when you have stuff that He's allowing you to endure is because you're not prepared for what He's called you to do for your purpose. So I need you to think
you're
about
right.
that. And I say that for a reason. You know, I went to church the other day and we were working through the book of Haggai in 3 chapters, and it talks about our faith and our spirit.
Yeah,
But a lot of times we lose our faith because God is telling us to be patient.
yeah, wait on him.
He's telling us to be patient. And so when we try to control it and pretend like we're going to do it when we want it to happen, it's not going to work. And so
Nope.
unless God gives us His blessing and tells us that it's time to go, then it's really not time to go. So it requires us to take away our own will, our own ideas, our own ambition, and take a step back and let God decide when it's going to happen.
Yes.
And believe me, it's been good for me because every time I'm in a situation where things aren't working out, instead of me complaining or making a big fuss or being upset, I'm just thankful because that means that I'm not prepared for it to happen yet because God said it's not time for it to happen.
Right.
And so I want to just share that with you because I really want you to think about that, because the stuff that you're doing is phenomenal. And there are men all over, not just in Arizona, but all over the
All over the
country
world.
who are
Yes,
going through the
yes,
same thing that you are addressing, talking about, and leading. And I'm excited. So I want to
yes.
ask a couple of questions to Tyrone, because Tyrone and I, like, again, I'm gonna go back. We both sit on the board for an organization. Tyrone is based in Canada internationally, and I'm based in North America. It's called Believe in Unity. And so, Tyrone, can you kind of share with him what we're planning to do to help him get some dollars and raise some money by plugging him into Believe in Unity?
Yeah, so we're launching believeInUnity.org, which is a fundraising platform. We give you access to banking. If you're a nonprofit, your members can get cards because sometimes it's hard to get a bank account. There's
Yep.
no, we don't charge much. We have very low fees. We get you a Mastercard, and in addition to that, because we're becoming a financial banking system, we have ways to help fund certain nonprofits. So in your situation, we give you access to an e-commerce store where you can create different swag stuff with your brand on. We give you ways to monetize on that, to get involved. Like if we also have additional products where you can sell gold tokens, for example, and part of the profits can go into helping your organization. So there's a way for us to basically give back. But for example, where are you based, Myron?
Arizona,
Oh, in Arizona. In which part? Phoenix or
Glendale.
Glendale? Okay. So we would basically give you access to your own URL. You could then hand that out to people within your network, and set up this T-shirt shop that gives you a commission on all T-shirts that are sold. And it can also be a hoodie. It can be caps, whatever
Right,
your swag is, and and then we put you out to our network. If there's anyone in our network that's wanting to give back, um, we basically can redirect people towards your organization. And
okay.
one of these, I think I personally love what you're doing, and
Thank you.
I think there needs to be more like
Yep,
it
and
done, because it's
my
not just in Glendale.
it's
It's in
worldwide.
Toronto. It's in Detroit. It's in LA. I
Right,
mean, even in Africa, there's a lot of men that aren't getting the recognition. Like, I mean, you know, a lot
right,
of times
right.
it's
And
always the mother, right? But it's not the father. The father's always a forgotten figure.
the forgotten one.
So we're the ones that are we always be working and providing for the family, but sometimes we just, because society doesn't, they forgot about us. But I think as fathers we need to you know reach out
Yeah,
and
come
build this
together
fatherhood.
and yeah. And I want to do this. I want to build my foundation here in Arizona, and I want to take it worldwide because it's needed. I tell everybody that's a need, not a want, because we have a lot of men out here. 7.1 million men out here is that is raising kids by themselves.
Hmm. Well, we have another platform in addition to Believe in Unity called Stati, that we're going to start teaching different courses like advanced manufacturing, CNC manufacturing, programming, website development, e-commerce
Oh,
development,
okay. And
blockchain.
that's another trade.
Yeah. So it's stuff that you know only the university through adversity will teach you, right?
Right, right.
Right. No, no.
So
Adversity will get you.
yeah, because I mean, especially like with AI now, like a lot of people don't know what's coming. I keep telling everybody, I say, life is about to change and things are about to get more difficult, and we need to be adapting and preparing for
Right.
the future that's coming, and we need to discuss these things too, because a lot of people might be confused and they don't know which direction to turn to, and this is all new. It's affecting everybody. It's
Yes,
affecting
sir.
programmers. It's going to affect drivers, truck drivers. You mentioned truck drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the automated, Uber trucks, whatever, the Tesla trucks, those things drive themselves, right? I mean, everything. I don't understand why there's such a need to automate everything, because who's gonna buy the products?
Right.
And then
Right.
everyone talks about getting this UBI. It's like, well, I actually do like working, so
Yeah, right.
I
Do
want to feel
something.
useful, right? Otherwise, I'm just I'm just like a person getting a check at the end of the month, and then who determines how much extra I get? And are we all going to get the same amount? Is it all going to be $500 each? And then what can we do with $500? Not much.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, that's that. I love what you're doing, and I think Derek, I think we should figure out how to support Myron.
Well, I want to jump in, and Tyrone, I wanted to say a couple of things going back to the artificial intelligence, and people don't really understand. In 18 months, all of 80% of the white collar jobs are going to be gone, and I don't think people really understand what that's going to do to the economy, to people's
Right.
ability to work, for people to be able to pay their mortgage or their car note, or even feed their families. And so, um, I've been willing to adapt and change because the world we live in requires us to adapt and change. So it don't really matter for me, but I'm not the average bear, as you can imagine. And so people have to really take a moment to think about what's going on, because the world is changing at such a high rate, because artificial intelligence is about to change the game 100%. And so
Oh
the only
yeah.
thing I want to say, and I want to allow you to share your thoughts, but obviously we're going to post Believe in Unity. We're going to have you sign up your nonprofit organization so you can start making money to people who are in your network, and we'll put that as we put this show out into all of the different networks so that people can see what we're currently doing. But I want to ask this last question, and you got about a minute and a half to share your thoughts. If you had one idea or one thought or one thing that you could say moving forward for young people or for men who need to hear your message, what would that message be coming from you, from your mouth? And we're going to quote whatever you say.
I would say that get your education, get a mentor, and just be there for your kids, man, because these kids, they really are adorable and they are our future right now.
Okay. Tyrone, you want to add anything?
No, I can't say after that anything after that. We have to be there for our kids, and we, as men, I hear what you're saying. Like, society these days tends to keep us down, and there's this negativity towards men, and we sometimes hold up the family. When the mother's not there, and we definitely need to look out for each other in a way that that everybody else is looking out for themselves, right? So, as men, we need to discuss these things, because it's real. It's affecting us. It leads to
Yeah.
mental health, financially. We need to figure it out, and we just need to, not to come together to form this secret club of men, but just
Just
to
work
say, hey,
together.
I'm there for you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Right.
well, and
Yeah.
I'll say this, and again, I'm blessed that we had a chance to connect and have a chance for you to talk about your nonprofit. We look forward to building
Yes, sir,
relationships.
Mr.
But
Derrick.
and as you know, I love Tyrone. Me and Tyrone have a long-standing history going back to our time in Vegas. That's all I got to say. And the biggest thing for me is,
It was a
which I think is
conference. It was a
is
conference in Vegas.
profound, is I'll leave everybody with this as we end the university through adversity. We're planting seeds for trees we probably won't see.
Mm.
Hey, that sounds like a song, Derrick.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. And next time we'll have a new guest. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff with university through adversity.
Yes, sir.
University. Yeah, through adversity. Some people go to universities where they're chosen. Others go to universities where they're tested. In 1996, Derrick Boles didn't have an agent. He didn't have a recruiter. He didn't have a system. He flew himself to Long Beach State with nothing but belief. He sat in the crowd at a Pro-Am game next to the director of the feedlot Pro-Am League. She turned to him and asked one question. Do you want to play against the Lakers? That wasn't an invitation, that was a test. Derrick said yes. He guarded Kobe Bryant for 3 quarters. And by the end of that game, everything changed. Soon after, he signed his first professional contract in Taipei, Taiwan. Sometimes the world believes in you somewhere else first. This is university through adversity. The education you get when no one is coming to save you. Welcome the courage to lead.
Yes, sir.
See you guys.